After much deliberation, in other words playing with an orange light, I decided to give the trailer project the green light. This would be no easy feat, the trailer itself is a lot of work, but before any of that can happen, the van needs a tow hitch. I dropped back in to see Paul again to give him a hand on a few things, and he in return he was going to help me with a few of my jobs, like welding up that sill I'd completely bodged before Portugal, and help me go about making and fitting a custom tow hitch to my old ambulance. Now the reason I mention the ambulance part is because its old job had meant it had been highly modified, including the chassis. It had actually been cut off and modified in 2 staggered lengths in order to fit the old tail lift mechanism. This meant that there was no longer the 4 bolt holes you traditionally mount a tow hitch to. There was still remnants of the old mechanism still hanging on there, and there was nothing really left to bolt to without some serious thought of fabrication. From the very first thought of fitting a tow hitch to this van, I've been nervous about it. But Paul was pretty unfazed, saying whatever needs doing, we can just get it done.
The other one's behind all that shite. Oh dear. Oh, there's so much bodgery into it.
Come back to haunt you.
Yeah. Yes, it is. At least I can get that fixed on properly. It's been floating for about a year.
It soon also became clear that to get any decent workspace under here, the water tank would have to be removed.
Ah, thank God.
The mess of that.
Somehow Lance's dog food's got onto the top of it.
This side still actually had the 4 tow hitch bolt holes, but they'd been repurposed and used for the old tail lift mechanism, which I ended up just having to leave the bolts in because they'd completely seized into the crush rods, so I had to cut the bracket clean off to get the tail lift off. However, there was a modified welded plate on the back of the chassis. Removing the end cap, we might just be able to use them bolt holes to bolt the new chassis leg onto. Over the other side it's a different story, it's completely different and been cut a lot further back, but it still had a flat plate on it with 4 bolt holes that could be used. As well as trying to figure all this out, I also had to keep a bored spaniel who's not so used to being kept indoors amused.
Good boy. Where's your bone? Hey, what's this? Oh, you're getting protective. You're getting protective.
Unfortunately for me, the end cap on this side was way too thin to bolt, say, a tow hitch to. And with the tow hitch bolt holes and bolts still completely seized, we had no other option but to cut into the chassis, taking the end cap off, cutting through the crush rods and the bolts, and clearing the entire lot.
Oh, it's like new in there.
Good.
At the top.
That's what we want.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We can get the other side of that out now, and then you can cut through those 2 tubes.
Yeah. I suppose I better bring us back into the loop a little bit because I've not really explained much today. Basically we've had a bit of an issue with the fact that, see this chassis leg there sort of ends and it's got this weird little attachment on. That's not how the standard van comes, that's been capped off and welded. Basically, so a step could go in here back when it was an ambulance. And this side, I'm not sure if that was factory or not. It didn't really look it, but yeah, this whole sort of back end had been modified to accommodate for tail lift, step and all that sort of stuff. I see this on here, that bit of bracketry and them 2 bolts, that's what used to hold the tail lift on. So they've gone through what would have been the tow hitch brackets, and they are absolutely just locked in there. It will not come off. We could use an acetylene torch, but we'd have to get some acetylene, and you know, it's just a farce. That side, obviously, the 4 bolts that would hold a tow hitch on are completely gone. So it's become a bit of a head scratcher. What I've done is cut this off, and our plan was to sink this into there, but obviously as we've cut in, we've found that there's that these whole like crush rods and everything, they are like a unit, and they've been slid in and tacked up, and they're just in there. And so tomorrow what Paul's got to do, because, well, Paul knows what he's doing, I don't, he's going to cut this section out, like that whole piece, leave this face. That's then going to go up into it, and then he's going to do all sorts of wizardry welding. It's actually worked out better than imagined, because originally I was going to try and get them out, put a drop bracket here, and come out normal, fairly boring tow hitch, and then this side would be bolting a new plate to it and a similar sort of thing. But now, because we've had to go to this extent, we're going to weld that in there. This area is either going to be welded and bolted on, but we're just going to continue the chassis on with this stuff, and it's going to come out all the way, have a piece going across and all the way back. So basically the chassis is going to continue out and create a platform area, so I could have a bike carrier or a bench, a step, extra storage, somewhere to put some extra outdoorsy bits. Yeah, it opens up a whole world of extra stuff. And then off the back of the platform will be the tow hitch. Probably sink some lights into it, God knows what. So yeah, it's actually panned out pretty damn good, because we've had to, you know, sort of sit and stop and think far about. I think that's actually come out better than imagined. There's 4 plates over there. This all come from next door. Mark was kind enough to, I mean, they're in a scrap bin. I'm not sure if that was in a scrap bin or not, but they do fabrication, so it's they've got so much metal there, it's unreal. So yeah, he was kind enough just to give us these bits, and that's basically all we need to do it. Brilliant. So yeah, tomorrow, first things first, is we're going to swap the vans over. So this is going on the ramp, gives us that little bit extra height and just more to work around. And my job is to clean up all of the surfaces where there's going to be welding. I'm going to clean up all this as well, just basically a shit ton of cleaning. But yeah, for tonight I'm going to call it, because I've got to get myself all cleaned up and spruced, because Emma's on the way. Yeah, we can see each other again, which is always lovely. I removed the water tank, so there is no water for the shower. Yes, it is so hard to get stuff done on your van when it's your house, because, I mean, it's hard enough. Imagine having your bathroom done in your house. There's usually only one of them that's got everything, you know, like the shower and the bath and stuff. Big inconvenience when you start like taking bits off your house because it's one room. Massive inconvenience. And then obviously if you do stuff that makes it undrivable, now you could technically drive it, just duct tape the reg plate back on, away you go. But when we like cut the sill out, you can't even move it. So you think, oh wait, I just need to go and get some paint or some bits to do this job. You can't drive it to go and get it. So once again, I can't thank Paul enough. He's been an absolute saviour. Really just helped me out. He's good to me. I've been helping him around the unit, clear some stuff out, and just have a basic sort out, because he's also trying to get himself ready to get down to Portugal whenever we're allowed, because he wants land too. But yeah, being in here, having the toilet and a sink over there again, and you know, all this sort of work that would be horrific right now out in the cold, it's just so much easier. And I've got a guy that actually knows what he's doing when it comes to metalwork.
The next morning we swapped the vans round and got mine on the ramp, just to give it that little bit extra height for working. Now this is a little bit naughty, but my van is slightly too heavy for this ramp, meaning the pneumatic air brakes that lock it get stuck. Yeah, the last time my van was on here, we nearly sent it through the roof because it wouldn't come down. So to avoid that, we're vice gripping each of the air brakes open and then resting the ramp on whacking great chunks of wood. But yeah, for purposes of health and safety, probably don't do that. Cutting through the last crush rods revealed exactly why we couldn't get the bolts out. They had become one.
Yeah, not a chance. Used to be about 4 or 5 kilos of scrap metal just hanging on the bottom here. There she goes. Yay.
Lance had definitely remembered where we were from the last time we were staying here. He'd got to know pretty much everyone in all the units, his favourites being the guys at Reuniform in the upstairs office. He had his own bed in there, they'd buy him treats and toys all the time. He got to the point where he'd just see himself out and go and chill next door for a bit. He'd even learned how to open the door.
Yep, that's Lance lost for a bit. Right.
Okay, with that all nice and cleaned up and the bars out the way and all that jazz, in theory, now that will go, yeah, that'll go onto there and be welded all the way around. And then once that's on there and level and all that sort of stuff, Paul's going to lop that off and put the other bit over there. The other side's having a plate on it and bolted through because there's quite a good back plate on that one. It's nice and thick, so we could be able to bolt all that and sort that out without having to faff like we have here and weld it all. Yeah, there's a plate there. So, and I'm using this stool as a great little camera turner. That is the next port of call. That's a lie actually, the first port of call is the bowl of cereals is just behind me. Oh, I'm starving. You probably don't want to watch this. Oh, you're back already? Eh? That is surprising. I started cleaning all the excess glue and muck off the rear end ready for the new panels to go on. And then I started fabricating some plates and bits for the other chassis leg. Right, so we've got as far as we can today. Today has flown by. I don't know where the time's gone. I'm just going to turn the radio off. Right, so we've got pretty far today, but we need some nuts for the plate that side. We need to do some bits here. So until that's on there and we can make sure everything's square and then weld everything fully, that's how that's staying for now. So Paul's now gone and I'm going to get on with a few jobs that also need doing, but I can just sort of do at my leisure here. Starting with the diff. The diff oil has needed to be changed for about 6 months now. Got it in here, come to do it, bought all the fluid, then realised that unlike most sprinters and like most vans, because mine's the twin wheel, it requires a special tool.
that is the special tool. 14mm hex nut. I actually bought a full set, and then Paul come in, he's like, I've got some of them, but I've got them now. So now that it's here, I'm going to give it a go. And I already know that's not going to work actually. There's not a chance in hell. This has. Oh yes. And whilst reading through the forums to find out what size that was, I also stumbled across a really good comment, and that is to drain take off the filler nut first, because if you take out the drain, let all the fluid fall out, then you go to remove the filler and find it stuck, you're bollocksed. So I didn't think of that, so that is what I'm going to do now. See if I can get them off. Okay, that's possibly the worst angle I've ever seen, but there is my fill. There is my drain. I'm going to try and crack that one first, using my new special tool. And we'll see if there's any give in it at all. Now this one is quite chewed. Obviously over the years it's had a few diff services, but the tool does fit in there. I can feel it giving. Shit. I hate nothing more than dealing with chewed up nuts, especially when they're on something as important as this. Oh no. It's beginning to chew. Oh. Oh, hello. Yes. Let's give that a bit of... That has moved. I don't know if I've mentioned it in any videos, but I've got quite a nasty bit of diff slap going on the van. So this is another reason I'm going to change the fluid now, because I'm a little worried that when I come to drain it, there's going to be lots and lots of little bits of metal filings that will want cogs. If that's the case, I might need to start looking into a new diff or a new van. I don't know yet. Either way, finding out what's going on in here is one of the main factors to Amber's retirement or not. Ah! Oh, there's a chassis leg there. Oh, you bastard, that was wild painful. Oh, it's made me go dizzy. That's now loose. Hook it there just in case. Oh yes. Part of me thinks I should really replace that. The other part of me don't. Oh wow, that's strong. Let's have a little nosy inside the diff, shall we? That is a well-worked diff. Oh dear. One thing I can say, that fluid is low. That's a fill hole, so you're supposed to fill it until the fluid comes out. Now this was serviced by Mercedes, and they did get rid of the leak, but there is not very much diff oil in there. Oh shit, I will say. And what is in there looks quite brown. That could be a problem. If you're watching this on any sort of technical level and you're trying to, you know, get professional advice, you are in the wrong place. I'm not a mechanic. I just do what I need to do to get my van going. So if this comes off, oh, we'll be laughing. Oh, you look at that, you beauty. This is going so much better than I thought it was going to. Great. It gives me 1 mil of play. Oh yes. Get that worked in there. Give me my special tool. And then, let's see if we can crack it with this. Yes. Oh wow. I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be that colour. Oh, that ain't right. That ain't right at all. Okay, I'll give that a minute just to do its thing. Well, that's draining. I've just had a look in the new one, and that just looks like normal oil. It's that sort of colour. So there's something very wrong going on in there. That was serviced 3 years ago. Something tells me Mercedes have ripped me off. I'm not surprised, to be honest. I was naive for going there. In other news, this is f***ing cool. This is the lid of the new oil, and somehow there we go, you do that and you got a fill-in spout. How about that? Oh, that's great. What? Bye-bye. Pour a bit of this in to flush it through. I've got 3 bottles of it. I'm told it takes roughly 2.5, so I've got a bit to use as a flush. Who put these bars here? Unbelievable. And now the oil goes from brown to yellow. Oh. Leave that in there for now. Take this disgustingness away. Tight. Go. Okay. Well, that's actually, that bar's quite handy. I can stick the kettle on. Emma's just WhatsApped to me. What's she got to say? Well, it's going down. It's not very bloody quickly. Don't suck it back in, you dickhead. Ah, do you know what? No, that's at the level. I can see it's at the level. I'm happy with that. I dropped the plug, so I'm just going to wash that off. We're going to seal her up.
The next morning was a Saturday, meaning all the other units were closed, so me and Lance had the whole compound to ourselves. With the plate for the other chassis leg now cut and all the bolts figured out, we can now lop off the excess box section and weld it to this. The difficult part of this come in trying to get them both perfectly level. With them being staggered and the chassis legs bowing out as they come towards the back, there was no real reference point to measure off, so it was a bit of a struggle to get them perfectly symmetrical. But when we eventually got there and everything was measured up and sit right, Paul could then go for the full weld and lock everything together. And now for the official test. Pass. The bare metal then needed protecting, especially the Mercedes metal that I was not letting rot again. So I got 2 coats of Hitch primer, then 2 coats of red oxide, then 2 coats of hammerite. Now admittedly I do take a bit of a backseat approach when it comes to health and safety, but this time, learn from my mistake. Hitch primer is nasty and you really need to wear a mask. I was paying the price for it the rest of the day.
obviously left that bare because once this is all dried and I've got the back face back on, we can then go for welding the cross member. So we don't want paint on that because it'll just blow back off again. So yeah, now I need to cut up some alley and refabricate this because although this has done its job for a while, the old arse, if you like, is it's about done. It's a bit flimsy. It's just starting to look really tatty. So yeah, I'm gonna make a new one. Well, what do you know? I can do measurings. That cuts shit. Yes, I should have used that face. It's okay because I'm having covering strip there, and an angle bracket to secure all the bottom. But yeah, that cuts a little bit wank, to be honest. Okay. Oh, scratched my new paint, dickhead. Right, just before we get into recovering everything, I'm going to pay some attention to the rear light cluster. Both of them were wobbly when I got them. This one was fixed when the trim panel was on. There's a bolt gone through and pulled that in nice and tight. This one was loose from the top, but now all this is off, I've been able to get to it. And that's what was holding them in, because steel and alley never mix well. And yeah, there was nothing really left for it to do but just wobble about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and drill up there, which you probably can't see. I'm going to drill them holes out a bit, and with my rivneting tool I'm going to bosh some rivnets in there and then put some bolts up into the rivnets, and the light will be in again. Oh dear. Right, okay. Oh, hello. A bit of jiggery pokery I can. Oh, I gave myself a hemorrhoid. The shit coming up these lights is unfathomable. I breathed in many a substance today, but that's clearly the worst. Okay, you in there. Aha, yeah, and it's pulled that in. This is going really quite well. Yes. Right, where's that dog of mine? No one's here. Door is open. There he is, it's the man himself, it's Lads. What you got? Is it your new favourite Corona ball? What number is this now? Hey, we got to be in the 40s at least. Not quite the setting I'm used to, but you know, it's alright. Gate's all locked up, we're all good. Someone's parked over the... Wonderful. Good job I'm not leaving. Back to the job, and I believe actually at 7 PM it is... I'm missing quite an important item, quite an important tool for the rest of this. Ah, yes. Now I'm fully prepared. Right, I've just refitted the water tank forgot to put the camera on. It's getting late, I'm pretty tired now. I've cut both panels. I'm just trying to get everything under there put back together now, and then I can put them on, paint, and that's basically it for tonight. I think it's just kind of putting the van back together, which, I mean, putting the water tank in was the main one for me because I am so desperately in need of a shower. And I'd say get an early night, but it's already, I think it's like 10:30 now. By the time I'm done here, it's going to be about 12. So we'll see. We'll see.
I carried on through the night rebuilding the van's arse, and I was surprised how well it come out considering it was being made out of leftover bits from the slaphead project, odd offcuts of angle I had in the boot, and the odd scraps that come off the original back end that weren't bent and ruined. With the back end now done, just requiring a lick of paint, the cross member can now go on and we could finish off the tow bar. Always keen to recycle, Paul had this old rusty tow bar in the back of the workshop. It wasn't suitable for my van and the majority had rotted, but the centre section that the tow ball bolts to was still in okay nick. It just needed a quick grind back and a repaint, so we're going to reuse it. Throughout this project, with lots of welding, grinding and general metal sparks flying, we were conscious about keeping Lance out of the way as much as possible, until it was over and we had a chance to sweep. Sorry buddy, you don't want to be in here for this bit. Go on, there's a ball. Go get your ball. Go find your ball. Alright, he's got all this to play in. Whilst Paul started welding the cross section, I started grinding off the tow ball mount. Not looking forward to it. Anyway, once that was done, the rest of the metal got treated to the same as the chassis extensions. I'd also ordered another tin of my matte black military paint. However, what I got sent was clearly wrong, because even after a good stir, it was just liquid. So the proper coat was done a few days later with the proper paint. And with the paintwork now on and dry, it was just the last finishing touches. I really hope it comes with bolts. Oh, it don't.
I've gone for one with the proper hook on it as well, just so when I inevitably get stuck I can get towed away. Right, so I need to order some bolts. So once that's dried, I'm going to just sort of temporarily fit it with smaller bolts, then I'll get the right size. I also bought this. Now I ordered it before I ordered this, and obviously that's not for that. So